And we'll go upstairs, Joe.
Guys, yeah, melee ult.
Hello. Testing, can anyone hear? I'm talking just to make sure I can be heard. Anyone hear my voice? I can see a Quackle screen. I can see an overhead camera video feed with 8 moves on it. I can see a chat, a stream chat, partially covered up at the moment. Awaiting further instructions. I'll keep commentating, even though I'm not 100% sure if I can be heard. I've just seen Adam Logan make a move of Yum from a very strong rack of ZEM-UNYI. So that will keep NIZE, a very strong keep as well as a good score, 33. Puts him 60 ahead with John Ashmore to make his move. I'm starting commentary just under halfway through this game, and we've missed 3 bonuses, or I've missed 3 bonuses in that time. Adam exchanged on his first move and immediately bonused and picked a bonus out of the bag, which also drew a challenge. Not surprisingly, Klystron or Klystron. John challenged to give Adam 5 points. Straight after those 2 bonuses, John bonused back to keep himself in touch, and then he scored 50 on his 4th move, hooking an S onto Klystrons. I suppose he was taking a bit of a risk there. It might have been an irregular plural, Klystra or something like that, but Adam didn't challenge. And at that point, John was just 20 or so behind. He finds himself 60 behind now, but he's on turn. His rack looks promising, got ING on it. Maybe there's an 8 or a 7. Alginic. Alginic is the 7. No obvious place that it'll play. Quite a few 8s if the floaters are there on the board. We've got some ING words, some other ones. Logician is nice. Linguica. The move he's making isn't a bonus, it's an ING word. He's going for turnover, trying to capture a blank. Caping through the P of deprived. scores reasonably, so he's halved the deficit roughly. 185 behind, 185 to 221 behind. Adam picked the first blank though when he played Yum. To go with his N-I-Z-E, he picked O-R blank. So a super rack there. I'm sure he'll find the best move with it as well. Some sevens, ionizer, ironize, trizone, zeroing. Those are the sevens. I'm sure there's some eights as well. The 8 that Adam appears to be playing is Bronzier, opening up a 9 timer, but at this level that's a minimal worry. Oh, not Bronzier, sorry, Bronzite. Interesting that he didn't play Bronzier. Maybe there's some defensive reasons for sticking an E in fourth position rather than the R. So that puts him well ahead now, 124 ahead. 3 bonuses in 6 moves, or 5, discounting the challenge. Really strong start from Adam. John will really need to bonus on this move or the next if he's going to have a chance of winning this game. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it on this rack though. No 7s or 8s, unfortunately. When you're so far behind, the temptation is to leave the 9 timer open and hope that you get it on the next go if you don't take a 9, if you didn't have a 9 timer now. But I think as soon as he leaves it, Adam will block it. Could try the tactic of opening a second 9 timer line on the other side of the board. Not easy to do. And if he were to do it, it would be a very low scoring move and probably would have to leave an unbalanced rack. Keeping both L's wouldn't be favourable. Very difficult situation John finds himself in here. So he's going for turnover, try and get that second blank. Peloria scores okay. He's less than 100 behind, but that will increase to 100 after Adam's next move. Makes a bonus line in the N column, hooking the A of Peloria. So board's still got opportunities to back-to-back bonus to give him a chance of the win. That's the 5th bonus in this game in just 12 moves. So it's going to be a high-scoring aggregate at the end, over 900 you would have thought. Adam's played a two-tile word onto the board there. Sorry, three-tile word. Life. Just scores nicely. Takes the Z out of play if John was thinking of doing a parallel play under the Z for a high-scoring three-tile move or something like that. That's not an option anymore. There's still plenty of hot spots. The O next to Peloria. The A in caping, you could get some points there. The triple at A8 through the N. So there's places to score 30 to 40 without bonusing, but I don't think John's going to win with those sorts of moves. It's going to have to be a couple of bonuses. He's played cat in the bottom left corner, hooking BAY with the T. Scores 32. Again, decreases the deficit to under 100, but moves like that are not going to win this game. They're emptying the bag 3 to 4 tiles at a time, or 6 tiles in the case of his previous move. Adam just needs the game to end quickly, so he won't mind John doing that at all. Adam's not worried about the fact that his rack's totally unbalanced after his previous move. He'll not think about changing. He'll just score as many points as he can with a 6-foul rack. There's plenty of consonants to play through. He could hook the Q just for a 2-tile play, or a 3-tile play if he sacrificed his only consonant. Tie, T-I-E. Scores 22. Still keeps him 2 bonuses ahead of John. Everyone's favourite Scrabble word, EUOI, UOI. Could slot that in somewhere maybe. That would be the best balancing move. Less than 20 in the bag now. Some pretty good tiles, blanks, and balance of retina type letters, if you want to call them that. A-E-I, A's and E's and I's, R's and T's, 1L. Both H's still to come, interesting. Adam approached the board, but he's withdrawn his tiles, and he's back again. He is playing EUOI, gets rid of 4 of the 6 fouls, scores reasonably, 18, slightly less than if he'd hooked under the Q. But again, stretches his lead to over 100. Took out, you could argue it took out 1 bonus line through the O of Clistrons. Didn't do much to restrict anything else though. Still got the hook on the A of Peloria. Okay, John hasn't got a bonus rack. He's got very powerful tiles for scoring, 40 to 50 if he's lucky enough to have a hot spot. Wox or Wex down the side of Peloria would score reasonably, but obviously block the bonus line. Score's 45, so he'd only be one bonus behind on turn. But like I say, he'd be losing the line to bonus on. Nearly foxhole if it had been an F instead of a W. He has played Wox, sacrificing the chance to play a bonus in the end column, but he thinks it's worth it for the score. 45, so 290 to 354 is the score on move 8. Adam's got the rack Goutier, not Gautier, but Goutier. Again, he could score underneath the queue, maybe. Might be a little more concerned going into the end game, only 64 ahead before his turn. Bag's emptying quickly though, down to 12 left. From his point of view, the blank's unseen, so were John to pick that and bonus on the next move, we'd certainly have an end game. Adam wouldn't like to think of losing this game having been so far ahead and having had 3 bonuses in the space of 5 moves. Wouldn't do his confidence any good. Gone for turnover, maybe trying to get that blank. He's gone for Goonie through the N of caping, hitting the triple at A8. Scores 21, takes the lead out to 80 plus, 85 in fact. You can see John didn't pick the blank when he played Wox, so it's still in the bag with 7 tiles to play, or it could have ended up on Adam's rack, and we'll see shortly. I can't quite see Adam's rack from the overhead camera, so maybe you can see if he did pick it. What John did pick though is a bonus loathed, and he'll be slightly annoyed that Wox did block the hook of Peloria, but that's how it goes sometimes. Had to take that chance. Loathed makes a few 8-letter words. They're all head compound words: bolt head, jolt head, and tool head. None of which are playable. John's got an H, obviously, for going at the side of the C in caping. and making a word going down onto the double word next to the A in caping. So something short like HER, or something maybe opening up the top. He's gone on the right-hand side though, trying to make a bonus line. Played HEP. HEP over HAP. Oh, he's got to play HEP rather than HAP, hasn't he? Because he needs the A for the high hook. So keeping ADOLT, not brilliant for bonuses, but we're relying on a miracle pickup now. Okay, we can see what Adam's rack is. He didn't pick the blank, so it is still in the bag for John. There were 5 when he goes into the bag, so he's got a 40% chance of picking it on his next pick. You never know. He's 58 behind now. The scoring slowed down after all the bonuses earlier. It's more normal scoring, 20s and 30s. Rack that we're looking at for Adam appears to be heftier, but heftier again is a bonus that's not going to be played on this board. We've seen quite a few bonuses on the racks that don't play on the board. I believe the term for that is an orphan. Nice 8-letter word with a Y floater, etherify, E-T-H-E-R-I-F-Y. I expect Adam would have spotted that option if he'd had a Y to play onto. You can certainly score with this rack. He'll be aware of not emptying the bag. That would be perhaps a careless thing to do at this stage. If John did get a miracle pickup and a bonus that caught Adam with a lot of points on his rack. 68 behind before Adam's turn, so not beyond the realms of possibility that could happen if Adam emptied the bag, so he'll play a 3 or a 4 tile move. Possibly down the side of caping using his H. They've both got an H in the pre-end game. He's finally taken the Q hook off, fit onto the triple, hooking Chi and At. Scores a nice 31. Takes the lead out to 89. So John did pick the bonus, the blank rather, to give him a chance of a bonus. The only lane he'll be able to use is the a high hook, or he could use the blank as a G or a K, I suppose, or a P. Tadpole won't quite fit there. When he does play there, it'll score high 70s, low 80s, but it will open up the top line for Adam to score back on. So I think even if and when John bonuses, it's going to be in a losing course. But I suppose John will look at it as narrowing the spread, and a small losing spread is better than getting hammered by over 100 in the grand scheme of things. This is a long tournament. We're only in round 4, I believe. 3 or 4. And you don't want to be giving too many spread points away at this stage. I'll just use Ziziver to check if there is a 7 above HEP, and there doesn't appear to be. So what John might do is create, if he can, create a second bonus line somewhere. What's going on here? Is he trying something? He's trying an out word, which is going to be challenged off. Out deal is not good, it's out lead. So I don't think Adam will take too long in challenging this. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll leave it and score a big score on the O next to the triple, just to end the game a bit quicker. Take any worry out of the game that John might find a winning bonus, because I'm sure out deal loses anyway. Yep, he's chosen to leave it on the board because without having seen his rack, it gave him a huge score for reheats. So why not leave it on the board? So out deal was accepted. There was actually a playable bonus, toenailed through the I of deprived and the E of Goonie. Would have been 60 odd points and opening up a 9-timer, so that could have been even more points for Adam at the end. But as it turned out, it led to reheats is 98, is it? Something like that? Yeah, 98, so cancelling out the 78 that Outdeal scored and leading to a final result of 5-10 to Adam and 3-9-5 to John. So as it turned out, it was a 100 plus winning spread for Adam. Having looked like it might have been only 50 or less, it's gone back over 100. So well done to Adam and lucky John. I'll sign off now because my wife's just signalled that my tea's ready over here in the UK, and I might be back for some more commentary later.
that's interesting. Do you have a favourite?
Am I being received? Yep, I can see pictures. Okay, I think the connection's been made between Niagara Falls and Peterborough in the UK. So I will carry on commentating and hopefully people can hear me. This is Chris Hawkins. I did half of the previous game while the technical issues were being sorted out, but I think Craig has got there now. Craig Beavers is running these live stream games. The handshake's taken place. We've got Jeffrey Newman and Dave Koenig playing in this round. I'll try and get some score updates to see what positions they're in while we're seeing these opening exchanges. I'm looking at a standings table from the end of round 3, which I think this is the most current. Dave's in 3rd place, unbeaten on 3 wins at +439. Jeffrey's lost a game. He just lost his most recent game to Terry Kang Rao. He's 2-1 +95, so he needs to win this one obviously to keep in touch with the early leaders. There's 9 people unbeaten after round 3. I'm just thinking there might be an echo, so I'm just going to close a window on my screen in case there is an echo. Okay, so looking like Jeffrey's got the first move. Unfortunate first rack, only 1 vowel, and very quickly he's exchanged, keeping ART. Dave's rack's not much better. It's more balanced in the sense that there's an equal number of vowels and consonants, well, a 4-3 split, as equal as you can get. He's exchanged as well, so off to a change start. Jeffrey picked 3 consonants again when he changed 4 consonants. He picked 3 consonants and 1 vowel, so he's still got a slightly unbalanced rack. It's more favourable for a bonus. Would certainly be helped by a floating vowel on the board if he was going second. He's put the letters on his rack into alphabetical order, which a lot of players do. A lot of the top players certainly. Helps them see if there's a bonus on the rack or with any floaters on the board if this was later in the game. He'll probably know though that these 7 tiles don't make a 7, and obviously he hasn't got any floaters, so he might change again, or he might just play a short 2 or 3 letter word. Pad, maybe. Dap. Could just change 1. Yep, that's all he's doing. He's keeping a very strong 6-letter combination, A, D, E, N, R, T. Most vowels, I think, go with those 6, and quite a few consonants. We can see his rack, though. He picked the Q when he changed, so it'll be interesting to see what he does on his next turn. After Dave's change, he put back 3 U's and picked 3 consonants, so he had a 1 vowel, 6 consonant rack, but he could score with his. He's scoring well with bench, so we finally got a game with a word on the board. Bench play to the right hand side for the highest score. Some people might think of playing the H on the centre square for two points less. I don't know what the top players consider is the biggest sacrifice they would make in score in terms of defence, but that E next to the double letter squares is giving away more points than the C would have been. Plus you can extend bench to the triple. Benching is one possibility. Is there benches? Yeah, you can have benches, so you might see the possibility of bench being extended later in the game, because that would be a high scoring 3-tile move. So Jeffrey's not doing any more fishing exchanges. He's gone for a scoring move. Cat scores 30, so the scores are more or less level after one scoring move each. We can see Jeffrey picked nicely after playing cat. He's got dinners at least on his rack. He's also got the option of playing benches. He might choose that if his bonus doesn't fit. There we are. The E in bench did lead to a high-scoring power tile next to it in Aji. Scores 43. So we actually benefited from playing bench to the right-hand side. I suppose one way of looking at it is that this, if your opponent goes under the E, you might well be able to go above the E. And as it turned out, David got more points from his play than Jeffrey did. So we're on turn, technically. 3 exchanges and 3 scoring moves. And David's got quite a healthy lead, 45 points. Looking around this board, I think Dinners is going to stay unplayed. ABA has a few hooks in front, Baba, Kaba and Yaba, but not an S. The other 7 that this rack makes is Endrins, not a word I knew, so if Jeffrey does know it, it will hook underneath Jeté, and he's found it, so well done to Jeffrey for knowing the anagram pair, Dinners and Endrins. Scores a nice 73. Opens up a hot spot in the O column, obviously, depending on what David picked after Aji. He was keeping good tiles, MECS, well, relatively good tiles if he picked a couple of vowels. He picked 1 vowel, so he's got ACDEMNS. Zizaba tells me the bonuses on that rack are few and far between. There's no 7s and only 1 8. The 8 would play through a U, which there aren't any on this board. Decumans, which is nice. Should be able to score 30 plus through the S of Endrins. He won't want to leave that S there for Jeffrey. Just before it gets blocked, because it's most likely to get blocked on this move, 2 more extensions to bench, as well as benchers and benching. You can have bench top and benchier, more like a bench. David's putting some thought into this move. Options are to go for turnover, because he's quite quite short of vowels, so he could play four consonants off with one vowel, or he might just play two consonants off with one vowel, keeping the best four that he can. Might even take the risky strategy of not playing through the S of Endrins. He could score nicely on the J6 square above IN. Or through the I of Endrins, because he's short of vowels on his rack. He might look around the board for vowels to play through. In the end, though, he is going for turnover of all of his consonants. He's had to use his S to do that. There was an S on the board, but to score as much as he has done, he needed to play his S. Madness, a 7-letter word using a 6-tile play. Will he get the blank with that many tiles turned over? We'll see. Scored 39, so it's actually put him back in the lead, even though Jeffrey's had the first bonus. Jeffrey's gone to the other extreme, having had racks with lots of consonants on. He's only got 2 consonants this time, and triple O's to contend with. Might consider a change again, while the game's relatively close. There's a nice word through the D of Endrins he could play. Codon, C-O-D-O-N. Could consider doing that to get rid of 2 O's and balance his rack a bit. He's got a U that could be used on the Q. Pretty unlikely though, because it doesn't lead to a double or a triple. It only opens up the board in a way that he wouldn't want to do for such a low scoring move. I don't think he can actually play a Q word on this particular turn. Early in the game, so not too worried about time pressure at this stage, but he's taking a couple of minutes on this move so far. Not going to take too long though. With blanks unseen, when you get a blank, if you do get a blank on your rack, you want as long as possible to think about those sorts of racks, because there's so many more possibilities. Okay, so just getting caught up on the stream. I missed what Jeffrey did. Oh, in fact, he didn't do anything on the board. He changed 5. Sensible move with so many vowels. David instantly played so that Jeffrey's clock's ticking straight away. He used the hotspot at J6. That was bound to go fairly soon with a power tile on it. The F both ways scored 29 for David, so he stretched his lead to 40. Jeffrey picked some duplicate tiles. He picked 2 T's and a second E to go with the E that kept when he changed. He kept EN. So again, without a playable bonus, he's looking to make an opening. Nice use of the Aji to Haji hook there. Don't see that very often. Scores well as well. 28, keeping NATE. Probably the optimum move, I would think. David, after his 6-tile play before, picked nicely to the C that he kept. A, B, C, I, K, S, T. C and K obviously go nicely together. Only 2 vowels, but the ETH play of Jeffrey obviously opened up the triple at H1 with almost any hook, ES or ED or a vowel. And I think it's worth using an S for 56 in this situation. No need to hold it back for a bonus when you can score 56 with it. Stretches his lead back out to 68 on equal terms. Jeffrey picked ORE when he played his previous move. Strong 7-letter combination, AEENORT. Just looking across to David's pick after the backs play. Wasn't a brilliant pickup, 5 consonants. Some very unbalanced picking going on in this game. May consider a change next move unless he's got a 4-consonant play or a 3-consonant play that scores well. There are some floating vowels he could use, the I in endrins, the A in backs. Let's see what happens. Okay, so despite the strength of Jeffrey's rack, he didn't bonus with it. Carotene was the closest he could say he could bonus, the C in backs, but obviously it touches the word of madness on the board. He's gone for a move that gets rid of the vowel imbalance, slight vowel imbalance. So he's kept A-N-T-E-R and opened up another bonus line at the bottom, given that he hasn't got an S hook for the Jetés line. He's picked OK, he's picked O-R, so he's got ornator, liquid hook coda. In terms of floaters, he needs an I for anterior, an S for antrors, or an O for ratuna, none of which are on the board at the moment. Not in playable places anyway. So he's not having much luck with his fishing style of play. And of course, what David's done, guessing that code was some sort of opening move to lead to a bonus in 2 different places, he's blocked one of those places. He's blocked the code hook, leaves the floaters in backs, so he's hoping that Jeffrey won't be able to bonus up there, and as we know, he can't. So, as he falls further behind, 76 now, if he goes for another fishing move, keeping A-N-T-E-R and playing off O-R somewhere, V-O-R would be very risky, given that he hasn't got an S. Well, I think V-O-R-R is a word, isn't it? So he might play V-O-R. Forget what I said about V-O-R-R. I'm thinking of V-O-R-R-I-N-G, most likely. Yeah, sorry about that. So V-O-R only takes the S. But he might risk it because he's falling further and further behind as the game goes on. And he needs really to have 2 places to play bonuses because he'll be expecting David to play something through or parallel to backs if he can to take off those floaters. Might just play RES at F5, again making a very hot spot, but the keep of AEO NRT works well on that spot. It's quite easy to block there, obviously. Could play ORS, O-R-E-S, at E5. 5 extra points, not really the consideration, it's whether you think playing ORS gives you a lot of front hooks for the ORES. Again, likely to get blocked, but you've just got to try these things. Okay, he's going in a different direction, scoring about as much as he probably could do with all 1-point tiles. Krona, K-R-O-N-A, scores 18. Keeping 3 good tiles, but he did have, you could argue, 6 good tiles on his rack, so he's got rid of those, and he's hoping to pick them back again when he goes into the bag. You can see David's got scoring options with the Z and the W, I suppose. He's got the 3-letter word whiz on his rack, if that plays anywhere. Krona sets up a Z hook, ZA at L3. much nicer play for score and for defensive strategies is Darzi through the A of backs. Turns over an extra tile to something like Zit if he'd gone that way. L3. Does create a line to the O1 triple on the I of Darzi, but there's now no way of playing a bonus up there. I suppose you could have get an 8-letter word ending in IC starting at A3, but pretty unlikely. I wasn't paying full attention to Jeffrey's rack, but he's got a super pickup after he played Krona, picked the blank and the X, and he's going to score with both of them in these next two moves. Big scores, 60 with the X, first of all, due to David's Darzi play that looked defensive but actually gave away 60 points. So Jeffrey's still behind, but he would consider himself right back in this game, having picked the first blank. He'll be hoping David doesn't get the other one. David had a horrendous pickup to go with the U and W that's on his rack. He picked another U and W, as well as a T and an E, so they were the better picks. Three W's, WW and W. I can't see exactly what's going on at the moment. My thoughts are that he's changing, which is really good for the game, considering Jeffrey's got a 40-point deficit, so much more likely to be going into an end game. He's winning when there's only the bag, and then when the bag's empty, spotting an out in two that wins, sometimes with a setup play. It's always super to see those sorts of end games on stream. Looking different to how it did a minute or so ago. The W's and the U's are rearranged on David's rack, so maybe he's going to play through. Okay, so yeah, there is a move on the board, Mew, M-E-W, keeping U-U-W, but he's trying to play through tricky rack rather than changing. We'll see if it works out for him. He's got a lead of 51 on turn. Jeffrey's Val heavy after his Oxter play. He's still got the blank, obviously, that he kept when he played Oxter, but he unfortunately picked 4 vowels, I think. Next to the W of Mew, there's now a space for EEW and an option to play AE or OE at the top to dump a couple of vowels for quite a nice score. 19 points would be the score for either of those moves. He might choose to open up the board, given that he's got the blank now. Whatever he chooses to open up at the bottom, though, is liable to get blocked quite quickly if he does something like Via, or maybe something on the T of Vint. Agio from L13, and he scores 10 and makes a very hot spot at O12, so I don't think he'll be doing that, even though it does create a bonus line in the 14 row. Players who study their 5-vowel-8s might like to know there's 3 5-vowel-8s potentially on Jeffrey's rack, were the right floaters on the board. Agiotage, Agiotage, apogaic, or apogaic, Apogaeic, and the relatively straightforward one, egomania, Egomania. Having said that, that means one of them's playable, isn't it? Yes, the C in backs would take apogaic, Apogaeic. Either Jeffrey's considering the options of playing it, given that it opens up a 9-timer, or he's not even thought of looking for it, or he's looking for it and can't see it. 5 vowels, 1 G and 1 blank. You're not really thinking of looking for a bonus, but yeah, there is a playable one here. Most, if not all, of the top players know their 5-vowel-8s cold. There's over 400 of them, but they're so useful, proving so in this game. Could have been a move if Jeffrey did find it, to get him out of a hole. Even if he doesn't see it, he's still going to be going into the next few moves in a strong position with the blank, and maybe there'll be an opening that won't get blocked. There is another line on the board that takes a bonus. That's the N in Endrins. It would have to overlap the E and the S in Madness as well, or possibly even the N above it. To reach the double, it would have to overlap 2 or 3 of those. With a very flexible rack, I suppose you could overlap quite a lot of Madness, although there's a lot of consonants to go next to, so there's probably too many vowels coming down through the N. Unless the feed's frozen. Jeffrey's taking a long time on this move. Apologies if it hasn't frozen at your end and he's played apogaic and we're on to 2 or 3 moves after that. But all I'm seeing is a rack of AAEGIO blank and nothing on the board at the moment. Looking at the rack count, it does look like we've got a freezing issue because the faces or the heads that I can see in the background and the hand next to the rack of David don't appear to be moving, so I'm afraid we look like we've got a frozen stream situation. I'll keep talking though, just in case I can be heard. The stream. Hi, Natalie. She's telling me that the picture is going, but no sound can be heard. She's telling me that Qua has been played in the meantime. The last move that I commentated on was Mew, M-E-W. Apparently I can be heard again now, so that's one technical issue solved, although I am looking at a board that's a few moves old. What I might try and do is leave my Skype window open and follow the stream on Twitch, which might lead to echoing problems. Apologies if it does, but I can't really commentate on a game that I can't see. So let me just try this. It would be a shame if I missed the end of this game because it was boiling up to be an interesting end game scrap. David pulling out into the lead early, but Jeffrey getting the first blank and hopefully getting it down soon enough that he can get the scores level. I'm still here. I'm just having technical problems at my end. My really old MacBook is lagging quite a lot, so I can't actually open the Twitch stream at the moment. I'm trying, but it's not really playing ball. Still got lagging issues my end. Apologies. Hope you're enjoying the game. you can see. Okay, I've tried using my iPad to get a picture up. It's very low res on my iPad. I'm waiting for it to maybe pick up a better picture. I can see there's been quite a lot of moves played. There is a bonus on the board with a blank in, so that must have been Jeffrey. I can't even make out the scores. It looks like it's David's turn. He looks to be about 20 to 40 ahead, maybe. They're both numbers look in the 300s. Sorry, I'm commentating in the dark here, sort of. It looks like the game's right into the final stages, though. So apologies that I couldn't commentate on what was possibly a dramatic conclusion. There's less than 7 tiles on each rack, fewer than 7 tiles on each rack, I should say. I'm not going to get mad at